Mondo in the morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on KCMO.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway finds herself in Kansas City this morning, joining us for a few minutes on KCMO Talk Radio. That Kansas City traffic on a Thursday morning getting in the way, so she's joining us via phone. Attorney General, we appreciate the time. So what brings you to town this morning?
Well, actually, I'm in town to visit our office, but more importantly, to go observe part of the comprehensive health trial that's going on, which is the trial where Planned Parenthood and others have challenged all the laws on Missouri's books that have reasonable regulations on abortion. You'll recall last year, Amendment 3 made abortion legal in Missouri. What the plaintiffs in this case are arguing is that means it wipes out everything. So the need for an ultrasound, the need to have a doctor with admitting privileges, the need to have a doctor even associated with your care if you're taking methylprednisolone. A whole host of safety measures that really look out for the woman. They're trying to wipe out all of those. We're defending them. There were 179 such laws on the books. We've been sort of piecemeal in different cases, able to win some of those fights. The most important one that we have won so far is requiring parental consent for a minor to have an abortion. This is going to be a tough trial. We don't have a very great judge in this particular matter. It's going to be uphill sledding.
Is that judge right here in Kansas City?
Yes.
So you think you got an uphill battle on your hands. When do you expect an outcome on this? And then what happens if things don't go your way?
Well, if they don't go our way, we go up to the Court of Appeals, and from there we go to the Missouri Supreme Court. I mean, the lives of unborn children and the safety of their mothers are critically important issues to the state, to the legislature, and to me. And so we're going to enforce the laws that the legislature has passed to the full extent of the law until courts tell us that Amendment 3 had a broader impact than we believe it did.
Mm-hmm. Catherine Hanaway, Missouri Attorney General, is here in town on KCMO. So you heard Governor Kehoe's State of the State the other day. What is, in your estimation, the biggest takeaway from the governor's State of the State that every Missourian should be focused on and thinking about after his speech on Tuesday?
This guy's really a conservative. And his message was, we got to cut all the waste that got pumped into the budget because of COVID and all the federal programs that slowed down after that. The budget's grown out of control. And we need to eliminate the income tax in Missouri, which is going to take a few years. And there'll actually be a vote of the people this fall on it. But he is very aggressively trying to reduce the size of state government and reduce the tax burden on Missourians.
What do you think a realistic goal is for that phase out of the income tax in Missouri, knowing full well that, let's be honest, spending has not slowed down at all in the state the last few years?
No, it's ballooned out of control, and that was his point, that we got all this free federal money and the budget has just gone crazy. But that gravy train has ended, particularly with the Trump administration. And so now there's going to have to be some real belt tightening in state government. Realistic time frame for the income tax being completely repealed. It has been coming down. You know, it used to be 6%. Now it's about 4.7%. I would say 4 or 5 years is a realistic time frame.
All right. And would you have that triggered based on, based on revenues, or would you just phase it out over 5 years no matter what and basically say you got to figure out ways to make sure this budget is balanced?
Well, we haven't seen all the details of the governor's plan yet, but my understanding is that it is based on increasing revenues from other sources like sales and use tax, particularly on things that, have been technological developments that should be taxed but haven't been taxed. And then my pitch to him is that if we're going to have all these, I'll call them vices in Missouri, like video lottery machines, hemp, these, illegal cannabis stores, kratom. I want to get rid of a lot of that stuff, but if we can't get rid of it, we should at least be taxing it and using that revenue to reduce the income tax.
And just so I'm clear, because I heard this yesterday from one of our guests, all this COVID money that states got a few years back, and if this is outside your lane, please just let me know. But my understanding is that it did have to be spent, or it does have to be spent by like the 2027 budget, right? So all this money, these billions of dollars these states got, has got to be spent by the next couple of years. So the states have no choice but kind of overspend at the government level, but then they're going to have to figure out how to kind of tighten that belt buckle, right?
That's absolutely right. So, hopefully Missouri, I don't particularly care about all the other states, but hopefully Missouri has invested in, capital type projects that aren't ongoing operating expenses of the state. Hopefully it's really been invested.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. I want to ask you, Attorney General Hanaway is on KCMO. The Missouri Supreme Court this week upheld the state's law banning Medicaid from funding basically transgender care for minors. And I know that's something that you were applauding the court on. How concerned were you that this was maybe not going to cut the way that you would have liked to have seen versus the outcome that we ended up getting in this deal?
So we were cautiously optimistic that the court would do the right thing, and it's a law that says you cannot perform transgender therapy, reassignment surgery on any minor, and no Medicaid recipient, whether they're a minor or an adult, can spend money, the state's money, the Medicaid money, taxpayer money, to do gender reassignment. And the court not only upheld it, but upheld it unanimously. That was the surprising part.
So right now, an adult in Missouri can use their own money to fund this, but they cannot use Medicaid if they're an adult. And if they're a minor, they can't do it no matter what, correct? That's the law right now in Missouri?
Very well said, Pete. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. And do you expect more challenges on that? Or with the state Supreme Court deciding this unanimously, you think that's basically done and now settled law in the state?
It's done unless somehow they find a way to get into federal court, those who are challenging it, and take it, it would require the U.S. Supreme Court overruling the Missouri Supreme Court at this point to undo it.
Gotcha. Okay. Attorney General, thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the time in Kansas City. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk to you soon.
By the way, I got to tell you, your parking lot is beautiful.
Oh,
we made it all the way to the parking lot.
Well, I know that traffic got in the way, but you're welcomed anytime. And hey, we'll get you back up here soon.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Have a great weekend.
You as well. Right. Catherine Hanaway, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri on KCMO. She's great, but, it happens. I get it. People get stuck in traffic. And we got guest after guest rolling through the show this morning, so I had to keep things moving, unfortunately. But that's how it goes.